Imagine living in Paris, the cafes, the canals, the streets lined with art and history, but doing it all on just $1,500 a month. Sounds impossible, right? Most people think Paris is only for the wealthy, for tourists, or for influencers with endless budgets. But for 10 months, my husband and I made it work. We didn't have a chic apartment or designer clothes. Our tiny 120 square foot studio had a half fridge in the living room, a closet turned kitchen, and a bunk bed that doubled as both bedroom and lounge. The bathroom? Let's just say it was cozy, very cozy. And yet, this modest space became our Parisian home. With careful budgeting, public transportation, home-cooked meals, and a few affordable both bedroom and lounge. The bathroom? Let's just say it was cozy, very cozy. And yet, this modest space became our Parisian home. With careful budgeting, public transportation, home-cooked meals, and a few affordable treats at hidden cafes, we experienced Paris like locals. We picnicked in parks, explored hidden passages, discovered street art, and savored the little things tourists often miss. In this video, I'll show you exactly how we lived in Paris affordably, stretching every dollar, while still enjoying the culture, the food, and the adventure. If you've ever dreamed of experiencing the City of Light without breaking the bank, this is how it's done. Accommodations. Living in a tiny Paris studio. Living in Paris on a budget meant compromising on space, comfort, and style. My studio was just 120 square feet, tiny even by European standards. The room had a single window, a small kitchen corner made from a closet, a half fridge in the living space, and a bunk bed that doubled as the bedroom. The bathroom barely had a proper door or wall and was just a couple of feet from the couch. It was far from Instagram worthy, yet this compact space became home for 10 months. To make it work, my husband and I shared everything. Rent was $1,190 a month for the entire apartment, which split between us became $595 per person. We found this apartment after booking an initial 3-month Airbnb and negotiating directly with the landlord to extend on a month-to-month basis. Many friends told us we were paying more than it was worth, but for a foreigner without a French guarantor, this setup was a rare opportunity. Staying in a tiny studio taught me patience and adaptability. It was tight, sometimes uncomfortable, but it allowed us to live in the heart of Paris, surrounded by cafes, bakeries, and historic streets. Every square foot mattered, and the act of living minimally became a lesson in appreciating what was truly essential. It also forced us to plan our meals carefully, organize our belongings meticulously, and find joy outside our walls. Despite its size, this small studio became the backdrop of countless memories. Late-night conversations on the foldable dining table, weekend breakfasts squeezed in the tiny kitchen, and moments of quiet reflection by the window. The limited space became part of the Parisian experience, a daily reminder that living in the city didn't require extravagance, just creativity, discipline, and a sense of adventure. Transportation. Navigating Paris on a budget. Transportation in Paris can be expensive, but it is highly manageable with planning. I relied primarily on public transport, the metro, buses, and occasional RER trains. An unlimited monthly pass costs around $85 in 2019, which is roughly $94 today. This pass allowed me to travel freely within the city, making multiple trips a day to school, work, and leisure destinations. We occasionally rented bikes or scooters, which provided flexibility for short trips or exploring areas off the main metro lines. These rentals were affordable, often just a few dollars for a few hours, and gave a taste of Parisian life from a local's perspective. The beauty of using public transport is that it encourages immersion. Unlike driving a car, taking the metro or bus exposes you to daily Parisian life, the conversations, street performers, markets, and the subtle rhythms of neighborhoods. Over time, we learned which lines to take to avoid crowds, which stations had the quickest exits, and which routes offered the most scenic views while walking to and from stops. Transportation was a consistent expense, but manageable. It also offered freedom. With the most monthly pass, distance became negligible, and we could explore new arrondissements, parks, and markets without worrying about cost per trip. Public transit in Paris is efficient, reliable, and surprisingly inexpensive compared to the convenience it provides, an essential consideration for anyone living on a budget. Food. Balancing home cooking and dining out. Food in Paris is both a joy and a challenge when on a tight budget. Initially, we cooked nearly all our meals at home, determined to save money. Shopping at local markets, bakeries, and discount supermarkets allowed us to buy fresh produce, bread, cheese, and staples at reasonable prices. Our monthly food budget averaged $455. While we started strict, over time we allowed ourselves the occasional dining out experience, about 3 to 4 times per week. Paris is full of affordable options, from casual falafel sandwiches at Alas du Falafel to breakfast at Holy Belly or pizza at Justine. We also discovered Mexican food at Boca Mexa and enjoyed inexpensive yet delicious meals at various bistros. Cooking at home wasn't just about saving money, it became a creative challenge. Limited kitchen space forced us to plan simple yet tasty meals, learn to optimize ingredients, and reduce waste. Leftovers were common, and many meals became variations of the same few staples: pasta, rice, eggs, vegetables, and seasonal fruits. Eating like locals rather than tourists helped us control costs. We avoided high-traffic tourist areas and sought small neighborhood cafes and street vendors. Sampling Parisian cuisine without overspending required research, patience, and timing. Lunchtime menus often offered set meals at reduced prices, and shopping for seasonal produce at markets meant freshness without a premium. Over time, balancing home-cooked meals with occasional dining out created a rhythm that felt sustainable. We experienced the culinary richness of Paris without stretching our budget, proving that careful choices could still deliver a full, enjoyable life in a city famed for its food. Sightseeing, experiencing Paris without breaking the bank. Paris is a city of art, culture, and history, but experiencing it can be expensive. Instead of visiting every iconic site, we focused on free or low-cost experiences. Weekends often involved picnics in parks like Buttes-Chaumont, drinks by Canal Saint-Martin, and exploring street art or hidden passages like Passage Jouffroy. Museums were approached strategically. We had previously visited major attractions like the Louvre and Eiffel Tower, so we skipped the expensive tickets for daily life. Occasionally, when friends or family visited, we ventured to Versailles or Centre Pompidou, but these trips were planned and budgeted carefully. Exploring Paris like a local emphasized experiences over attractions. Walking through neighborhoods, admiring architecture, discovering small galleries, and attending local markets offered a sense of immersion that no tourist package could replicate. Free cultural experiences abounded. Many museums offered entry on certain days or hours, parks hosted events, and streets themselves were full of historical and artistic treasures. Even simple activities like window shopping in covered passages or sitting at a cafe. Watching the city unfold became valuable, enriching experiences that cost little but provided lasting memories. The lesson was clear. Living in Paris didn't require expensive sightseeing every day. The city itself, its ambience, and the simple pleasures of daily life were worth more than any ticket price. Budget-friendly sightseeing became part of the charm of living there. Managing costs, monthly budget breakdown. To make Paris livable on $1,500 a month, meticulous budgeting was essential. Rent accounted for $595, transportation $85, food $455, and sightseeing or leisure around $375. Together, these added to approximately $1,510 per month. Every expense was scrutinized. We tracked spending meticulously, planned meals, optimized public transport use, and balanced social outings. Occasional unexpected costs arose, like museum trips or extra dining, but were offset by days with minimal spending. Budgeting wasn't restrictive, it created structure. Knowing limits allowed for freedom within constraints. It enabled spontaneity in experiences that mattered most, while preventing overspending on unnecessary luxuries. Flexibility was also key. Renting month to month allowed adjustments based on circumstances, while exploring free or low-cost experiences maintained quality of life. Living on a fixed budget in Paris taught adaptability, creativity, and mindfulness about daily choices. Lifestyle adjustments. Living simply in Paris. Adjusting to life in a compact studio and navigating the city on a budget required lifestyle changes. Space limitations encouraged minimalism, fewer belongings, thoughtful organization, and multi-purpose furniture. Meals were planned, ingredients reused creatively, and social life balanced against budget constraints. Adapting to public transport over private options meant embracing walking and cycling. This not only saved money, but deepened our connection to the city, uncovering hidden streets, small cafes, and quiet corners. We embraced community experiences, visiting local markets, joining free events, and interacting with neighbors enhanced life without increasing costs. Cultural immersion became part of daily routine, learning the language, understanding customs, and participating in small local rituals. Living simply didn't mean deprivation. Instead, it highlighted value. Moments, relationships, experiences, and personal growth became more rewarding than material accumulation. Every choice reinforced mindfulness and intentionality in spending, eating, and living. Challenges and lessons learned. Living in Paris on $1,500 a month came with challenges. Small space, limited kitchen facilities, and tight budgeting required patience and creativity. There were moments of discomfort, frustration, and adjustment, especially when balancing social life with financial limits. Yet the experience was profoundly educational. It demonstrated how lifestyle, planning, and resourcefulness could stretch limited funds. Daily routines became optimized for efficiency, enjoyment, and budget management. We learned that expensive cities could be experienced without extravagant spending. Strategic choices, prioritization, and flexibility transformed potential stress into opportunity. The experience also reinforced gratitude for small comforts, public spaces, affordable meals, and the sheer privilege of living in a city like Paris. Cultural immersion, experiencing Paris like a local. The most rewarding aspect wasn't savings, it was living like a Parisian. We shopped at local markets, dined in neighborhood bistros, and discovered hidden art galleries. Parks, canals, and streets replaced expensive attractions. Daily life became our sightseeing. We noticed rhythms of the city, morning bakery runs, late-night cafe conversations, seasonal events, and the flow of commuters. Cultural nuances, language practice, and neighborhood exploration enriched life far beyond what a tourist experience could offer. Immersion required patience, observation, and participation. Learning French at Alliance Française helped navigate bureaucracy, communicate, and feel at home. Integration rather than observation made the experience authentic and sustainable on a budget. Social life on a budget. Maintaining a social life while managing costs was challenging but possible. We prioritized experiences over material indulgence. Picnics with friends, cafe meetups, shared meals, or exploring local events. Affordable dining, neighborhood bars, and communal activities provided connection without overspending. Social experiences became creative exercises. Hosting potlucks, sharing cultural outings, or enjoying free performances. The focus shifted from lavish outings to meaningful interactions. Budget constraints enhance appreciation for simple joys and authentic experiences, something tourists rarely experience in Paris. Conclusion: living richly with less. Ultimately, living in Paris on $1,500 a month was a lesson in resourcefulness, adaptability, and mindfulness. Small studio, limited funds, and careful budgeting did not prevent us from enjoying culture, cuisine, and city life. The experience revealed that wealth is not measured by spending, but by how intentionally one uses resources. Creative solutions, lifestyle adjustments, and prioritizing experiences over material possessions made Paris not just affordable, but deeply enriching. Living frugally taught lessons applicable beyond travel: budgeting, planning, minimalism, and immersion. With careful choices, Paris could be experienced fully without financial stress, transforming a limited budget into a life rich in culture, learning, and memories.